Hello and welcome back to Visiting Dugout, a Fans First Sports Network production. I am Crystal, you all know me, but today I have the face behind Razzball to chat about the Padres. Gray, welcome. Please feel free to introduce yourself.
Hey, what's going on? Yeah, I'm Gray. What's up?
Perfect. So, what is new with this Padres team that you can talk about?
Well, it depends. New subjective. So new versus the 1970s, or new versus for this last week, or new versus like last year. Dylan Cease is new. You may have heard about him.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
I love him.
Yeah, no, I mean, well, they have, in more recent days, they have the Padres have called up a few guys who are more or less not playing because the Padres and AJ Preller specifically, their MO is to trade everyone away in their everyone away in their farm system. So they don't really have quote unquote prospects, so to speak. The Padres are built like a team that is just sort of on the wrong side of its dynasty. Like the team that has already won a couple World Series, that's how the Padres are built. Even though they've never won a World Series in their existence. So yeah, they trade for vets. I mean, that's the Padres deal. But new wise, not much new. I wouldn't say new necessarily, unless you're talking 2024 versus 2023. Then obviously Dylan Cease, as I mentioned, and Martin Perez. He got traded over from the Pirates. Luis Ariz, who was traded earlier this year from the Marlins. But new, I wouldn't say new.
Not a lot going on. Yeah, I know we got Drew Thorpe and two others out of that Dylan Cease trade, and I haven't seen the two others play at all. But Drew Thorpe it was just announced. They're like, oh, he has season-ending Tommy John surgery coming up. And I'm like, why can't we have nice things?
Yeah.
He showed a lot of promise. He actually reminded me a lot of a young Dylan Cease. A little wild still, but like really focused, doesn't show emotion. It's just like this chill guy. And I'm like, okay, this is cool. He's going to be great. And boom, injured.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, no, I like Drew Thorpe a lot. I thought that was a really good pickup actually by the White Sox. One of their few good pickups.
Yeah.
I think that it's not that I think, I feel like every single pitcher is at some point is going to have some sort of arm or surgery or shoulder surgery. So to get it out of the way at 23 for Drew Thorpe, hopefully, knock on wood, that he doesn't really need anything, beyond that. Once he comes back, he's back and he's good. But yeah, I feel like the White Sox have literally every spot in their lineup as a whole. So it's like, if it's not Drew Thorpe, it's they have so many issues that it's hard to really pinpoint one thing.
No, that's fair. That's completely fair. I just heard today Yoan Moncada was in Chicago and he's traveling with the team for this West Coast trip. And I'm like, I don't remember I think it was maybe April or May is the last time I've seen Yoan Moncada play. So this should be really interesting.
I don't know if this is still true, but I remember at some point in I think it was July or August, where Yoan Moncada still led, or actually I think maybe he was second in the team for WAR.
That's completely accurate.
Yeah, I don't know if it's still the case, but I know for a long time after, like, it was a good 4 months after he had been injured, and he was still like in second place for WAR on the White Sox. Yoan Moncada, I wonder with some of those guys like Dylan Cease, going back to the Padres. So Dylan Cease has come over and he's done really well. I mean, he had success with the White Sox. I'm not going to pretend like, they didn't know what to do with him at all. Like he did have really solid 2022 season. And then, 2023 was a little bit down. I think it looked like his mechanics were a little bit off. So his command was a little wonky. But then now this year, he's doing well again. So I do think there is something to like just being off of the White Sox, making someone better. Like there's probably a 15 to 25% bump of value once you leave the White Sox. So going back to Moncada now, I wonder if he's able to get off the White Sox, and at some point they got to let him go. And there was at one point it did seem like Moncada did have like a lot of talent. Like there was something there. Like when he first came over from Cuba, they were like, "Oh, this guy could be good. Like Moncada can be really like a star." And then it was like, "Oh, he's bad." He's bad, and he couldn't stay healthy. It was like not only was he not good, but he also couldn't stay healthy, and he wasn't good. So I do wonder if at some point we see a Moncada on a different team, and like maybe there's something there that has just completely dissipated on the White Sox. Of like, I don't know, maybe I don't know.
It's hit or miss for anyone that's not a pitcher. Every single pitcher that goes to another team excels. I mean, Chris Sale could win the Cy Young this year.
Yeah.
And then, Jimenez, he goes to the Orioles. He's doing great on the Orioles. But then you have like the Tim Anderson and Jake Berger situation in Miami. And Jake is still on the team, but Tim Anderson is not currently playing Major League Baseball because he was just so bad.
Right.
So, yeah.
No, Jose Ramirez like ruined Tim Anderson's career, I think, with a right hand. Or was it a left hand? I don't know. Whatever hand it was. But Jake Berger is probably doing as well on the Marlins as he would be doing right now on the White Sox, essentially. Yeah. I mean, he really he had a really solid year for the White Sox. And then he was traded, and then this year it's been I mean, I like Jake Berger, but he just doesn't have much more to his profile other than like the occasional home run, and he's going to hit like 240. I mean, he is kind of what he is in a large respect. So yeah, but anyway, we're off topic. God,
you're fine. Do fans at least love Dylan Cease? Is that something you can tell? Because I'm very protective of him.
Well, I think it's hard to not like that mustache, right?
Yeah, it is.
I don't know. I think Dylan Cease is well liked. Yes, I think the fans love him. Other than, I mean, I'm trying to think. Now you've stumped me on a question that wasn't even the question, but I'm trying to think of a player who is really good, who fans don't like. Like, I feel like you can be you could be a terrible person, and if you're doing well, the fans are like, yeah, but he's good. Who cares? Right? It's when the player is not doing well and it's a likable player, then you really see whether or not he is likable for the fans. If he's doing poorly and people still like him. Like, I think Dylan Cease is doing well. So yeah, I'm going to say the fans like him. If, he starts doing poorly and the fans turn on him, then, it's only so far you can go with a mustache, I suppose.
Now that you can't see Twitter likes, I think it helps because he was a little right-leaning. He was a little iffy about the vaccine. So if you set that aside and focus only on the player,
I'm actually, I was saying to my wife the other day, because we're scheduled to get I think I'm getting a a Moderna, shingles, and a flu all in the span of like 3 days. And I'm like,
That's
I
not
was
no
saying, I
thing.
think I'm like the anti-vaxxer. I'm the anti-vaxxer's nightmare.
I just got Moderna, the booster, and the flu shot today. I still have the band-aids on my arm.
I am the anti-RFK Jr. I feel like if you have a vaccine, I want it. I want that. I don't care. Just give it to me. What is it? It's a vaccine against what? Mosquitoes? Give it to me. I don't care.
Gosh.
I do not care.
In a heartbeat, man. So the Padres are sitting right behind the Dodgers. They're really close. We're recording a little early, but last I checked, they're about 3.5 games back, and they're first on the list for the National League wild card spot. So, are you feeling like they're going to get to the postseason and they're maybe going to get far, or maybe they win a few games, but that's it?
Yeah, no, actually, if I were a betting man, I would probably say the Padres have a good shot of getting through the NL because, like, you really need 3 solid pitchers, right? So if Musgrove can be good, which he was in his last start, and if he continued to be good in the playoffs, and then they just got Yu Darvish back recently, and I think he went around 70 pitches last start and roughly, I think, 5 innings. So if they can get Darvish stretched out to about a 7 inning per start, and Musgrove looks good, they have Cease like we've talked about, and then if you throw in Michael King and Martin Perez for long relief if there's a need for it, yeah, I mean that is really kind of all you need to get deep into the playoffs is a solid rotation, and then get lucky on get a couple hitters hot. So say Machado or Tatís gets hot, they could go deep for sure. I would prefer what the Padres have right now than what the Dodgers have. And full disclosure, I actually live 10 minutes from Dodger Stadium. I'm actually probably more of a Dodgers person than a Padres person. But with that said, I mean, the Dodgers pitching is so banged up. I really feel like the Padres are in a better position. And we know from last year with like the Braves, it doesn't really matter where you're at with as far as like, oh, you get like, home park or you get like a bye in the first round or something. None of that matters really. Once you get to the playoffs, everything's, anything goes, and it's just a matter of who gets hot at the right time. Are the Padres getting hot at the right time? Maybe. It probably won't. We won't know that for sure until really like the first series of the playoffs. But yeah, I mean, I think the Padres could go deep. I actually, my favorite, I think the Brewers are really solid for the playoffs. Like I really like the Brewers. I like the Brewers pitching coaches, and like they really know what to do with their pitchers. So I think the Brewers are really set up well. The Padres look great. The Phillies look good. I think, even the Braves, if they can get Reynaldo Lopez, I think he's on the IL right now, but if he can get back, yeah, I mean, anything really could happen in the playoffs. But if I had to guess, I would say the Padres are going to go deeper than people may expect, and then the Dodgers always choke in the playoffs. So.
Yeah. Well, and I've said that about the Dodgers all year. Like, they might have built a superstar team. I mean, they definitely built a superstar team, and they have so many great players on that team, but I don't see a path where they've like really gelled and kind of dropped egos at the door. And so I was like, I don't think it's going to work out this year. They could completely miss the playoffs even. Like I've kind of said that all year, and I was like, they always choke anyway. And
yeah, so Bobby Miller is a mess, right? Yamamoto just came back. He only went 4 innings last start. If Yamamoto can get stretched out, if Walker Buehler is also a mess. Jack Flaherty, at any point, his mechanics can go sideways. And like the last start Jack Flaherty had wasn't good. on Saturday. So yeah, I mean, I know like Ohtani, Betts, and Freeman and Teoscar are great, but and Muncy, but I mean, they need more than, if they're going to lose in like 12 to 10 games, it's not going to matter how much hitting they have. So, yeah, I don't know. And they don't really have their bullpen's a mess. I mean, yeah, the Dodgers they're not in a good place heading into the playoffs.
They're not. I kind of live for it at this point. No offense. And you mentioned Reynaldo Lopez. That's another perfect example of a former White Sox player.
Yeah.
That has been really outstanding.
Good. Yeah. No, I joke around with like, if it's Reynaldo, like if you were to say like the Braves would have, in March, if you were to say the Braves would have 2 NL Cy Young contenders and neither of them were Strider, I mean, you'd be like looked at like you're crazy. But Reynaldo Lopez and Chris Sale have been so good, and Swellenbach has actually also been really solid too. But like I said earlier, Lopez is injured, so we'll see with that. But yeah,
I try to keep tabs. I try to watch Chris Sale starts these days because he's just been out of his mind.
And the only thing that Chris Sale has been out of his mind for many years.
Yeah.
He's literally out of his mind. I think Chris Sale's like the last thing I remember from Chris Sale on the White Sox was him just cutting up the uniforms with the scissors. Right?
It wasn't even scissors. It was a knife. It was like a pocket knife, I think.
He pulled he's like, I mean, even Freddy Krueger did better with like the nails. I mean, what's a pocket knife? I mean, it's like, that's like real psycho stuff.
Yeah. My friend Colleen, she was at that game, and it was like there was like a brief delay because of this whole thing, and they had to get completely new uniforms.
What if he was like, he was watching Project Runway, right? And he was like, I got an idea. I've been watching after Project Runway. I was watching Flashdance, right? I saw this cut off, like hanging off the shoulder look. I don't know. Can I try it?
Yeah, totally. He just was in his fashion era, but she got a notification, and she was like, "Chris Sale has been scratched." Like, she was excited to see him, and she was like, "He's been scratched. Like, what is going on?" And then
scratched by his own knife.
It comes out, and they're like,
he was trying to do alterations.
Oh my god!
Like, dude, if you're gonna do alterations, take the jersey off first.
I love that mess, though. I love that mess. Okay, we're gonna take a quick break, and then we can talk about what's gonna happen in this series. Water. Okay, welcome back. Thank you for listening to whatever ad that was. We're going to talk about this Padres. So, again, we're recording a little earlier than when that series starts, but we've already kind of touched on the rotation. But what do you think it might look like? I mean, do you have any idea of who the White Sox might be facing, or just in general what this rotation looks like?
Well, it depends in like I was saying with Yu Darvish. So it depends of how Yu Darvish looks for his start, his next start. So that's who I think is lining up for because he's lined up, I believe, for a 2-start week. So he's probably lined up for Sunday, I believe, Saturday or Sunday, with the White Sox. I feel like the White Sox at this point, I mean, you must be getting this all year with the White Sox, where whoever they're really matched up against is not going to help them.
No,
it's not going to help them, right? I mean, we're not delusional here. So yeah, I mean, Martin Perez just threw today. He had a great start. He's a very boring number 5, but a guy who gives you really good innings. So I mean that that could potentially be the White Sox best chance for a win in that series. And on any given day with baseball is, the great thing about baseball is any team can win on any day. Even, you see the White Sox actually have a 2-game winning streak.
Yes, we do.
We record this. Yeah. Can the White Sox make the playoffs? I think, and then on I believe Friday would be Musgrove, so it'd be Musgrove, Martin Perez, and then you Darvish. But we're recording this on Sunday the 15th, so things change in the when teams, especially the Padres, if they're trying to line up their rotation for the playoffs, they might skip guys. They might, more than likely. It's going to be Musgrove, Martin Perez, and you Darvish. And I don't think I wouldn't bet on the White Sox for any of those starts. I would probably, I would probably be looking at the Padres for a sweep, but weirder things have happened, right? I mean, we're looking at the White Sox. Could they potentially break the Mets record this weekend with the this coming weekend with the Padres? Are they lined up to do that, or is it going to be the last week of the season?
Let's see where they're at right now, because I think it could be this weekend. Okay, so they have lost 115 games, and they need to. The Mets are 121, right?
Yeah, 120.
Yeah. Okay. So they could tie it
potentially this weekend if they get on a hot streak and lose every game this week. Could be looking at a record-breaking loss on Sunday, but more than likely it's going to be the final of the week of the season. I mean, when Rob Manfred was deciding on adding an extra wild card, I don't think he ever intended on the White Sox being such an incredible draw for having the most losses in a season as being like such a big ticket item, right? I mean,
it's funny because people just want to be there for it.
MLB.TV package now and watch the White Sox lose another game.
No, people are rooting for this record and want to be in attendance to see it happen. That's how bitter this fan base is at this point. They're like, I want to be there for loss 122.
Yeah, I would actually, if I lived in Chicago, I would be down to see the final loss or wherever they are the final week of the season. Are they even going to be? Oh, they're going to be in Detroit.
Yeah, we'll be in Detroit.
I don't really want to go to Detroit, so
that's a spot out from the wild card right now.
Detroit. I think the Padres could do okay in their weekend series with the White Sox, but we'll see. I don't know. I'm taking a wild guess here and gonna say that the White Sox probably aren't gonna win, but who knows?
Well, that's fine. That kind of tees up to the next question. Who do you think the biggest threat to the White Sox is on the Padres right now?
I would say the White Sox are probably their own biggest threat against themselves. Yeah, I mean, anyone really could do well against the White Sox, as we've seen for the last 5+ months. I would say if I had to put money on who would be the star of that series, I would say probably I like Machado. Manny Machado probably matches up well against their pitchers, but anyone really. I mean, if Tatís or Profar or Arise went crazy that series, it wouldn't shock me. I don't think the White Sox, as they are right now, I don't really think they have anything that can stop any of the Padres hitters if they're in the groove, right? Yeah. I just don't see them really White Sox don't really have the pieces right now to do well. Unfortunately, I feel bad for Garrett Crochet because he looks. I mean, he looks good. And Louis Robert is also. I like Louis Robert, but he's not having the best of seasons. But who could blame him because of what's around him? I mean, I don't really blame any of the White Sox for like any of their. I blame Reinsdorf and then Getz, and down the line from there. I don't really blame the players, but. Yeah, they don't look good.
Machado would actually be hilarious. That would be Jerry's karma.
Yeah.
I know it's been a couple, I don't remember what year that was, maybe 19 or something, where everyone thought the White Sox were going to get Machado. I made my husband, so my husband's birthday is in February. I made him that he hates baseball now, by the way. I made him this like churro cake because that's a big thing at Sox Park.
Ooh, that sounds
and good. I frosted it and I put the White Sox logo and then I put like bright green kind of what's supposed to be grass around it. And then I put "and Manny more" on the cake to, because we were like, we're going to get him. And he was like so excited, we're going to get him. And then, we didn't. And I think that broke him, and he hates baseball now. He especially hates White Sox baseball. He won't go to games with me.
That was I believe, if I'm remembering correctly, that was when it was like, oh, Yonder Alonso is Manny Machado's brother-in-law.
Yes!
So that means, of course, we're going to get Machado because, it's his brother-in-law.
They posted little White Sox booties for like a baby on there on like the Instagram. And I was like, see, we're getting him.
It's like, what are we? I know. It's like, are we putting together a team or a family reunion? Because I don't see why a brother-in-law said anything. It's like, yeah, we're not going to pay you, but your brother-in-law's here. What do you say? Will you come to us? Will you come to the White Sox? No? Okay.
That's Jerry's karma and Rick Hahn's karma.
Yeah, totally.
So bad. These next two questions are, at this point, a joke, but I still always ask them. First, what are the keys for the Padres to take the series?
Show up. Be at the stadium on time.
Yeah.
Punctuality could help. I think honestly, I think the White Sox, if they have if the White Sox can win against the Padres, it's more the Padres not showing up than the White Sox doing well. I don't see really much from the White Sox this year,
no.
which is not a real. It's not really like I'm doing a spoiler here. We're not doing a spoiler alert. I mean, the White Sox aren't good, so yeah. The Padres are, and the Padres are also going. They're also trying for the playoffs. Well, they should easily get to the playoffs, but I mean they have an incentive, which the White Sox. They haven't had an incentive since May, so yeah, I don't know. I think the Padres are gonna do okay. I don't think there should be any fears.
Yeah, that's good. I forgot you're in this document too. Yeah, no, I totally get that. It's been brutal. I cover every Friday's game, and more often than not, I cover like a Chris Flexen game.
Oh, God.
And that's just abysmal. He actually has had two great starts just recently, but I'm just like, I could think of 90 other things I'd rather be doing, and like gouging my eyes out with a spoon is one of them.
Yeah. But, yeah, Chris Flexen, I think, is the one guy who went to the KBO, then came back and didn't get amazingly better. It's like Merrill Kelly got really good. Ben Lively pitched on Sunday. He got much better. Chris Flexen, yeah, I mean, he was. I guess he was okay on the Mariners, but
Yeah.
you know,
Well, Eric Fetty came back from KBO and was great.
right. That's what. Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, no, that's what I'm
Now
saying.
he's gone.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they now he's gone.
The one person I was like, aside from Garrett Crochet, that I was like, I love Eric Fetty so much. Then
Yeah.
boom, Cardinals. And I was like, okay, I'm done.
Yeah, he looked good too. I think he's been okay on the Cardinals too. So
yeah. Well, that's really what I've got for you. We already kind of touched on this season as a whole earlier. So please, again, just remind people where they can find you in case for some odd reason they don't already follow you.
yeah, Razzball.com, Razzball on Twitter, Razzball on Blue Sky, Razzball on TikTok, Razzball on Threads, Razzball on LinkedIn. No, don't follow me on LinkedIn. Yeah, Razzball.com.
Yes, for sure. All right. Well, thank you so much for coming on and chatting. Best of luck against this tough White Sox team.
Yeah. Good luck to the Padres.
Yes. Good luck. I'm sure you need it. All right. Well, we'll chat later. Thank you and bye-bye.
Yeah, thank you.